learning difficulties. When all such procedures and processes are in place in order to encourage school health projects, then the learning difficulties that occur in the students can be avoided. A number of children can be saved from losing interest in their studies and dropping out of school when their learning difficulties or disorders are detected through health screening and addressed at early stages. So that means that these learning difficulties which the students are facing, because either they are having some illness or they are involved in smoking or drugs, and it is very difficult for them to come back to the normal life. For these people, if these health screening procedures and processes are continued and followed up, if the students are sent for referral, and if the treatment is given in a proper manner, and also if the rehabilitation process is in place, then that means all these learning difficulties can be avoided. And then students will not have to leave the school. There will be no dropouts in the school. The percentage of dropouts would become very less. And also the learning difficulties and disorders that the students are facing because of different complexes, if they are suffering from some sickness or they are engaged in smoking and drugs, all these complexes would go away if all these processes and procedures are in place. Through health screening, so many things can be detected. It can be found out that the normal system of the body is working and functioning well. It can also be found out whether students are smoking. It can also be found out if they are using any drugs. And it can also be found out that the children are not taking proper food. Either they are taking too much food or they are taking less food. And also it would be known whether they are taking the nutritional food or not, which is important for their health. So by looking at all these situations, we would come to know that the students can be taken care of and protected and saved from the learning difficulties, which would be identified by the health screening process. And all these difficulties can be addressed at a very early stage so that it does not become a chronic problem for the parents and the teachers. So what is important is, in order to get rid of these difficulties, it is important that there is collaboration between health and education sectors. This is very crucial for this component of school health program. So in order to achieve this sort of a success, and in order to avoid the dropout rate in the schools or the disorders that are taking place in the learning of the students and the children, and the complexes they are developing, and they are getting into chronic problems. In order to avoid all this, there is a need that the health sector and the education sector, they get together and work in collaboration with one another and take the responsibility of addressing the issues by the help of the parents, the community, the school, and also the students. It is also the need of the students to cooperate with all these bodies so that the solutions may be found out. And in addressing all these issues like disorders in the studies, difficulties in learning, any sort of complexes, isolation, or getting interested in those things which are not good for the health of the students, all these things need to be addressed, but that is only possible if both the sectors, that is the health and the education sector, they work together in a school health program and thus help everybody to come out of the difficulty.